It was a crisp spring morning, the kind where the air smells like fresh grass and promise. I was sprawled in my old wooden chair, coffee steaming in my hand, staring out at Saw Lake glassy, quiet mine. 5 years ago, I'd bought this land just beyond the grip of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, making damn sure no clipboard-wielding busybodies could tell me what to do. Freedom tasted better than the coffee. Then I saw them. 3 HOA board members strutting toward my dock like they owned the place. Leading the pack was Sandra, all sharp blazer and sharper attitude. Her walk screaming she was used to getting her way. "Morning," she chirped, her smile as fake as a plastic flamingo. "I'm Sandra, president of Willow Creek HOA. We've decided your lake is perfect for our annual picnic. It's going to be wonderful for the community." I nearly choked on my coffee. Sao lick? I leaned forward, squinting. "Sorry, Sandra, but this is private property. My name's on the deed. You want a picnic? There's a public park 2 miles down the road." Her smile didn't budge, but her eyes turned cold. "Oh, come now, Eric. This lake's practically part of our neighborhood. You're not hoarding nature, are you?" "Hoarding nature?" I bit back a laugh. "It's my land. It's off limits." Her jaw twitched, and she leaned in, voice low. "We'll see about that." I figured that was the end of it. Sandra and her minions would sulk back to their cul-de-sac and whine over wine. But 2 days later, I opened my mailbox and froze. A glossy flyer, bold as brass, announced the Willow Creek HOA picnic this Saturday, fun, food, and canoeing on Saw beautiful lake. My dock was in the damn picture. Rage burned through me. I marched to the HOA clubhouse, flyer in hand, and found Sandra fussing over tablecloths. "What the hell is this?" I demanded, holding it up. She barely glanced at it. "Oh, that? A mix-up. We printed it before finalizing the location." "Bull. You used my dock in the photo. You knew exactly what you were doing." She crossed her arms, smirking. "Eric, no one's going to care. It's one afternoon. Don't be that's on neighbor." I pulled out my phone, hitting record. "Mind repeating that? Just want to clear you're planning to trespass." Her face went white. "You wouldn't dare," she hissed. "We'll have the city reassess your land. You're not as untouchable as you think." That was it. She wasn't just pushy, she was playing dirty, thinking I'd roll over like everyone else. But I didn't buy this lake to bend. I bought it for peace, and peace sometimes needs a fight. That night, I stared at the flyer, my mind racing. Calling the cops or hiring security would stop her, but it wouldn't sting Saw. I wanted to outplay Sandra, to make her choke on her own entitlement without breaking a single law. So I got to work. I called the local anglers club, who were thrilled when I offered my lake for their charity fishing tournament. "Same day as the HOA picnic?" they asked. "Perfect," I said. I posted on community boards, in VY food trucks, and got my buddy Mike, who runs a fishing vlog, to film it. Entry was free for kids and vets. The response was wild. 500 people RSVP'd in days. Sandra had no clue what was coming. Every move was legal. Permits filed, insurance secured, every guest accounted for. If she wanted a war, I'd give her one, calm as the lake itself. By Friday, my lakefront was a carnival of ropes, tents, and fishing boats. A massive banner read, "Willow Creek Fishing Day Invitational Welcome." Sandra thought she'd waltz in with her picnic tables and mimosas. She was in for a shock. Saturday dawned bright, and my lake buzzed with life pickup trucks unloading coolers, kids in bucket hats chasing each other, the smell of fried fish in the air. I sipped my coffee, grinning as the parking lot overflowed. Then I saw her. Sandra's black SUV crawled up like a hearse. She stepped out, pristine in a white blouse, and froze. A kid with a painted face ran past, while VYing a balloon. Her eyes locked on the banner, then on the crowd. She stormed toward me, heels crunching gravel. "What the hell saw is this?" she spat. I took a slow sip. "Fishing tournament. Great turnout, huh?" "You sabotaged our event," she shrieked. "This is harassment." "No," I said, cool as ice. "This is private property, and I'm hosting a legal event. Not Saw community, though." I pulled out her flyer, laminated for effect. "You printed this, knowing you had no permission." Her face turned beet red. "That was an error." "Funny," I said, stepping aside, so she could see the news crew filming. You told me you'd hold it here anyway. She spun toward the crowd, screaming at vendors to shut it down. She flagged down the cop I'd hired for crowd control, pointing wildly. This is illegal. They're blocking a public resource. The officer strolled over. Ma'am, this is private property. The owner has permits. If you're not here for the tournament, you're trespassing. Sandra's jaw dropped. This is Saw Lake. The cop nodded at me. It's his. That was the moment her whole act crumbled. Phones were out, a drone buzzed overhead, and Sandra lost it. You can't tell me what's mine, she screamed. Someone in the crowd yelled. Show us the deed, Sandra. Laughter erupted. The cop asked her to leave. She refused, demanding a super VY sore. When the second officer echoed the first, she was escorted out, still shrieking, This isn't over. But nobody cared. A 12-year-old girl had just hauled a 12-pound catfish onto my dock, and the crowd was cheering. By afternoon, the news crew cornered Sandra in the parking lot. She was sweating, ranting, while the reporter barely hid a smirk. That night, the story aired. Lake Showdown. HOA picnic clashes with fishing festival. Who owns the water? It featured Sandra's meltdown, a clip of me saying landowners deserve respect, and shots of happy families. My phone blew up. Friends, strangers, even an HOA board member named Greg, who emailed an apology. Sandra didn't tell us she hadn't cleared the lake. Not all of us are with her. I smiled. Her crown was slipping. But I wasn't done. Sandra's type doesn't quit, they regroup and strike later. So I turned the tournament into something bigger. The Willow Creek Angler Foundation, with seasonal events and youth clinics. My friend Bobby designed Mercha fish and sunglasses holding a no HOA sign. The first batch sold out in hours. Sandra, meanwhile, was floundering. Her emergency HOA meeting was a disaster. Leaked audio showed her dodging questions about lying and wasting HOA funds. I sent a cease and desist to stop them from using my lake in promotions and posted every move online, calm and transparent. People loved it. Then came the Lakeside Freedom Festival, set for the same day as the HOA's summer barbecue. Live music, kayak races, fireworks, the works. Permits were airtight, vendors lined up, even a radio station wanted to broadcast live. The day arrived, and my lake was a riot of color and sound. Sandra showed up, of course, in her SUV, sun hat, and fake smile. She slunk through the crowd, hunting for a violation. There was none. She demanded to see the organizer, and a volunteer pointed to me by the stage. Good to see you, I said, handing her a lemonade. Careful, it's not HOA approved. Her scowl could have curdled milk. This is provocation, she hissed. You're disrupting our barbecue. You mean the one you planned after trying to steal my lake? I said, the one nobody showed up to last time? Her eyes blazed, but she saw the cameras and froze. You haven't won, she muttered. We'll hold you accountable. I pointed to the news crew. Smile for your fans. She stormed off, yelling at some teens, tossing water balloons. It's a saw balloon, not a lawsuit, someone shouted, and the crowd roared. Then came the kayak race. Sandra stood at the shore, arms crossed, glaring. A kid's paddle splashed her, and she shrieked, stepping back into mud and falling flat. The crowd gasped, then laughed as she stood, drenched and furious, screaming about HOA decorum. The band's singer grabbed the mic. A round of applause for our surprise guest, Madam Sandra. The cheers were deafening. She fled, mud flying as her SUV peeled out. By night, VY Deos of her fall were everywhere, 500,000 VYUs and counting. The festival glowed under fireworks, a middle finger to entitlement wrapped in a summer bash. A week later, Sandra resigned. The new HOA head, Marissa, sent a handwritten apology and asked to meet, promising no more stunts. I agreed, and she listened more than she talked. The Anglers group proposed more events, even solar lights for the dock. The lake became a community hub, but only for those who respected it. Schools VY cited, kids signed a guest book, and no HOA merch sold nationwide. One couple, new to the HOA zone, thanked me for showing them they could push back. You gave us hope, they said. Sitting on my dock, coffee in hand, I thought about it. I used to think staying quiet kept the peace. but silence just in VYTE's louder bullies. I didn't yell louder. I was smarter, calmer, prepared. I didn't start the fight, but I finished it. An anonymous message hit my inbox. You didn't just save your lake. You showed us we don't have to bow to clipboards and loud voices. Under the fading sky, I wondered, what would Saw You Saw do if someone tried to take what's yours and call it theirs? Would you roll over or fight smart? Should HOAs have any power over private land? Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and let's keep this fire going. Who's got the next Sanders story?